same time. Not everybody can open them, but that's fine. What we can do is speak for them. Now, I'm not going to talk too much because nobody wants to listen to a Scottish man in England. You don't want to listen to a Scottish man in England. But what I will do is pass on to my colleague, if that's okay, Mr. Alistair McConaughey from A Force for Good. So I'll pass on to my colleague here, and he will take it away and give you more of the Scottish accent that I know you all love. Thank you very much, Nick. But firstly, I'd like to thank Richard for the work that he's put in to organise this event today. An extremely good idea. And looking around today, it was meant to be lightning, it was meant to be raining, it was 90% chance of rain. It's a beautiful day in this beautiful, great British city of Dover. The first time myself and my colleagues have ever come down. We came down from Glasgow and Edinburgh and the Central Belt today. So it's absolutely wonderful to be here, to see all you fantastic British patriots out in the sun, celebrating our great British land. And you know, getting here this morning, we walked down the promenade and we looked up there at what used to be called the Key of England, which is Dover Castle. Well, I don't know what's happened to that door, but it was unlocked and the key was thrown away years ago. And it is an absolute disgrace to the men and women who fought for this land, and there's memorials to them as well, all down the promenade. There is a memorial talking about the Channel Dash. Heavy on the text, but it is about an event, again, with the British Royal Marines, Royal Navy defending this coast of Great Britain. There's a memorial to the Merchant Navy who lost tens of thousands of men defending these islands. And today we have to live under a government which allows our nation to be invaded. That offends our dignity as people, as British people. It is shameful to our nation that this is allowed today. And I'm just going to backtrack and explain to you why it is allowed. In 1951, the British, in a completely different age, 75 years ago, signed up to the UN Refugee Convention. Now, people who cross the channel may appear to us to be breaking our laws. We see them clearly as illegals. But here's the thing. Under the UN Refugee Convention, you are entitled to come into any country by any method, providing you get there and you say, I am claiming asylum. This was brought up after the end of World War II, and they thought it would be a clever way to ensure the movement of displaced peoples during that age. That was 75 years ago. A different day and age altogether. So our establishment, the Keir Starmers, the Kemi Badenochs, the Tories, the Rishi Sunaks, they are facing these people coming over, and they are obliged to consider them to be legal, even though to our eye it is, of course, an illegal method of entry. Because, you know, we already have laws on the statute book against illegal entry, the primary one being the Immigration Act of 1971, Section 24. It criminalises that kind of entry, but it doesn't criminalise it if you claim asylum when you get here. So the easy answer, and it's going to start being heard now, but the easy answer is simply to leave the UN Refugee Convention and no longer be bound by those crazy rules which are out of date by 75 years old. And what that will mean is when these people come across, we say, oh, look at you, That's a method of illegal entry. Guess where you're going? Prison. Prison. We won't be able immediately to send them back, but we'll say, you're good. If you cross the channel in a dinghy, you're going to prison for 5 years. We're not listening to your sob stories, most of which are all made up. And even if they were true, we cannot embrace all the misery of the world. This is our country, it's our nation, it belongs to the British people, and we have a right to defend it. And so when we say that, when we say we're leaving the UN Refugee Convention, which is a different thing from the ECHR, we're always hearing about the ECHR. The main one is the UN Refugee Convention. That's what legalizes what is in effect illegal entry. So we leave the UN Refugee Convention and we say you come in across the English Channel, you come in via the land border with Northern Ireland, you come in as a stowaway. These are all illegal forms of entry and you will go to prison. And imagine if we said that. How quickly is that going to dry up? That's going to dry up within a week. And that's going to put all the gangs out of business as well. Because they're going to go, well, our business method doesn't work anymore. And so that's the easy answer, ladies and gentlemen. And we must start hearing that from the fringe political parties and the smaller parties and the bigger, the insurgent parties as well. We must normalise that conversation. We must normalise the conversation that if you come in over the English Channel, the land border with Northern Ireland, or stow away in any other manner, you are breaking our law of entry and you will go to prison. It's easily done. It's easily done. And that's the conversation that we must start having. And the second thing is that we only vote for politicians who will say that. And you know, we've got plenty of opportunity next year. We've got another whole tranche of English council elections. We've got the Scottish parliamentary election and we've got the Welsh election. And so we've got plenty of opportunity to exercise that. So just to close, my message is start normalising the idea that we leave the UN Refugee Convention and send these people to prison and only vote for politicians who agree with that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. My name is Alistair McConaughey and I'm from the Glasgow-based organisation called A Force for Good. I want much more to thank Richard for giving me the opportunity to say these few words today. God bless you all and God save our wonderful United Kingdom.
So I had a speech prepared. There is nothing I can say that hasn't already been